Yeah. Uh,
I think we're live right now, guys.
Yep.
All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this episode of the Cronos Hackathon workshop. Today, we are honored to have Shash coming to our speaker series. Shash is the CEO and co-founder of Altcoin Buzz. It's a really, well run and popular global blockchain and crypto news and media firm. The site has been getting a lot of traction over the years. It's been, around for forever almost. And you guys have a lot of followers, like 120,000 followers on Twitter and almost 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. So Shash has been, in the crypto space for a very long time in the community building and marketing capacity. And he's, being a huge supporter for crypto.com ecosystem with different products, since the very beginning. So yeah, we're so honored to have you joining us, Shash, to give our hackathon participants an overview and workshop. What it means to build a engaging community for your crypto projects, and what are some kind of tips for the founders to know in terms of building community and doing crypto marketing. So Shash, over to you.
Thank you so much. That was such a nice introduction. I'm super excited to be here. I've been a fan of crypto.com since like 2017. I remember meeting Chris, and he also showed me like the new design of the so-called MCO card at that point of time, and I was like, this is amazing. And I've always been super excited to follow what the crypto.com team has done over the last 4 years now. And sort of we made this nice design for the mainnet launch, which is coming on the 8th as well. And I think this is like a huge step, huge next step as well, with everything that's kind of building up to this momentous occasion. And with me, like with altcoin buzz, I started just making it easy for myself to understand, and as I understood stuff, just make it easy for people to understand what I learned, and created like content to make it, make people understand as we understood, and as the learning became better, engaging more and more with the people around. So like from 2017 to 2020, sort of launched a bunch of media social platforms and stuff like YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and a lot of stuff happening on the website. And of course, we recently just launched a Telegram group as well, just to engage a little more with the community one on one. And yeah, and we have a lot of people who are getting updated informations from the email segment from us as well. So it's all super exciting. I've been very excited doing this for the last 4 year plus now. On the website and stuff, we have like a bunch of segments, including DeFi and blockchain gaming and NFTs, etc., etc. So that's us. I also launched my first like altcoin buzz minted NFTs back in 2018, and tried to give it to the community to make it exciting. Nobody really cared about it at that point of time. They're like, NFT what? But it was fun. And yeah, we also rebranded in 2021, which was cool because we had this old logo I had gotten made from, I think, Fiverr, and now we have this cool slick design, which is pretty cool. And now in 2021, we still remain unfunded. We have a team of over 30 people doing research and doing analysis. And we've launched a lot of sub brands and stuff, which is like the altcoin bus trading side, where we cover price analysis, speculation, predictions, etc. We have the daily news segment, we have the daily spotlight segment where we are featuring people and stuff, and then we have the tutorial segment. We're also doing altcoin buzz access and altcoin buzz labs. Access is like a premium service where we share more detailed information to people, and Labs is like an incubation uh, platform that I've launched to make it easy for people to get started with this journey into crypto, right? Mostly for entrepreneurs. Besides that, there are these in-house brands that we're coming up with. One is called Fungible, which is fungible.com. It's a blockchain gaming review site. And then we have Altart, which is sort of like an IMDb for NFTs, still being worked on. I We have a fund called Base Layer where we are looking at supporting with early stage projects, investing in them, and I'm also setting up a fund with Engine called EngFi to invest in more blockchain gaming side of things. So yeah, with that sort of out of the way, I wanted to begin this talk and kind of start with seeing from a macro perspective, if we were to look at an overview, how do projects usually perform well, right? So I'm assuming everybody here who's listening is trying to build their own crypto project, has been, trying to do either outreach and marketing or build products, etc. I've been interacting with, I think, over thousands of projects over the last 4 years. It's my passion to understand what's happening in this space. It's my passion to understand, where the technology is headed, what people are building, where's the flow of money, where the trends are headed. And I find it fascinating. So over time, just speaking with a lot of founders, seeing how they think, how they work, how they deliver, and how things work out, and how the trends are being set. Kind of what I've tried to do today is set a like a basic guideline of how to look at the marketing side of your uh, project's journey, right? And it can be a little daunting, it can be a little complicated, and we will try to simplify it as much as possible. And if at any point of time you guys have any questions, let me know. I'd like to sort of have an interactive session if possible. Otherwise, I can keep ranting on. That's not an issue at all. So from a macro perspective, right, any person who's building sort of a token side of things, so to speak, right, and I'm not going to go so much with layer one right now. The three main things you need to succeed at to really build a unicorn in crypto is, you should have excellent product and technology. You should be well sorted out with regulation and compliance, and you should have excellent marketing and community building skills, right? If you have these three things, crypto as of now, it's easy to build a unicorn, really. But that said, most companies aren't able to do more than one right. Majority of them aren't able to do two right, and very few of them are able to do all three correctly, because these all go hand in hand. You cannot be starting an organization and be of a mindset that, hey, I'm going to just focus on the product side of things and we can build the community later. That doesn't work. You have to go hand in hand. You have to deal with the regulatory and the compliance side at the same time, build product and technology at the same time, do community building and marketing, right? Like I said here, long lasting unicorns do all three right. But with that said, in today's conversation, we're going to focus more towards understanding and breaking down the various elements of marketing and community building, right? So community building has to be in a builder's DNA. It's not something you can say, hey, we're going to start marketing in 2 weeks. That doesn't mean anything. You are constantly marketing all the time. You can't say, oh, we've stopped marketing. You cannot have stopped marketing at all. These things I've heard so many times, and those projects who've given such excuses have never really performed that well, because it's not something that you can start or something you can stop. Marketing goes on all the time, and it may be a bit of a cliche term, but marketing includes a lot of things, and I will kind of break it down in this further, so it will not become like such a word where it becomes a problem. Like, why do we need marketing? Do you need marketing? Yes. When you start a Twitter page, you started marketing. When you make a nice design for your logo, when you have a nice name for your brand, you've started marketing. It starts on day one, right? So community building has to be a part of your DNA, right? But in crypto, it's fascinating because we sort of break down marketing now into two different aspects of it, and the two don't really go hand in hand because they have a life of their own. So one is sort of the product marketing side of things, where you're doing the product side, and I'll break it down for you. And then the other is the token marketing side of things, and they're both absolutely different businesses. They need to be thought out in a different manner. In fact, the team running product marketing ideally should be very different from the team running token marketing. Uh, uh, because the stakeholders getting involved with the token side and the product side are usually very, very different. The strategies for communications are very different as well, and the outreach strategies are different as well. And to kind of break it down to make it easier to understand, right? Like when you're marketing your product, and we can start with this, it's like any real world marketing. It's about brand building, it's about user acquisition, the more the better. It's about customer support, it's about product marketing, it's about getting the right social messaging, it's about reaching out and outreaching, amplifying everything that you're doing from this perspective. But this, every company in the world is doing, whether they have a token or not. And you have to continue doing this for your product, no matter what the product is. Maybe it is an exchange, maybe it's an NFT platform, maybe it is a card service, maybe it's something to do with supply chain, maybe it has a DeFi, maybe it's a DApp, maybe it's a DAO. But these things for your product continue, and about 10-15% of this will affect the token side of thing as well, which has its own life as well. But sort of coming to the token slash coin side of marketing, one thing I'd like to mention, and which I found pretty fascinating, is that don't try and get real world people into the crypto space. Actually, a lot of people are already doing that. Getting real world people into crypto space is the hardest job to do. That's super expensive, right? It's There are easier and more effective ways to just attract people within the crypto space and making them more attracted to you, because Bitcoin's already doing that job, right? Bitcoin Maxi's job is to get people into Bitcoin. They're doing marketing to get people in our industry. So it just becomes easier for us. Like, it's just super easy for us to then tell these guys, here, there are more gains to be made, there are more interesting things to be done. Here is, this is crypto.com, and this is Axie Infinity, this is Engine, this is Chili's, and there is this new world besides Bitcoin that you can invest in, that you can be a part of, and you can do things in. So making fantastic products and solving problems of people in crypto, and then getting them from other companies, is actually much easier than converting real world people to get into crypto. And I felt like starting off there, and because I guess most of the people I'm speaking with are just starting their projects or at an early stage, this advice will come, I think, become very useful for all of you, right? The other thing is, the easiest thing to do, and many of you will raise a lot of money, many of you will have successful token launches, many of you will be able to create a pretty good interest amongst the community, right? And will have enough funds to burn on the marketing side of things, which is not a bad thing, right? But what happens in that is that the teams become a bit lazy, and I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean, what happens is, you're like, okay, now I can afford marketing, but marketing isn't it it's a cliche term because of what it has become now. It has to be more about passion, about getting people onto your platform. It has to be more about getting people more attracted to the token that you're releasing. It has to do with how amazing the token utility is, how amazing the platform is, and many other things that we will break down as well, right? The other thing I want to say is that you have to get your strategy sorted out. Like, how, what is it that people want to get into this project for? If the storytelling is good, the amplification is easier. The point I'm trying to make here is that spending money is the easiest part of the marketing side of things, and it's the least important one. Like, the CEO of Bitcoin, Mr. Satoshi Nakamoto, spends pretty much $0 on marketing, as far as I know, right? But it's still getting a lot outreach, in my opinion. So if you're able to be a little hungry, right? Like, if you're able to solve and get community on board with $0, which needs creativity, which needs a bit of work, then it becomes much, much more fun when you start implementing. And then when you start spending money towards it, the results are far better, right? Now, this is interesting, is because there is more to marketing than just influencers and KOLs, right? Everyone you connect with, everyone you're talking to, is essentially a point of marketing for you. And by that, I mean, it could be your own organization, right? People within your organization are your first step towards spreading the message of how awesome your product is, how awesome your the token is, how amazing the utility is. Why is this going to be the next unicorn? Why is it going to be the next multi X unicorn, right? The second is investors, right? Investors are stakeholders, and investors aren't stakeholders from the product side of things. And what I'm trying to do here is what I told you in the beginning, which is that the token side is different marketing aspect than the product side, because investors, traders, and enthusiasts, these sort of fall into the speculator category. And a lot more than 95% of what we have in the crypto space is not use of the tokens, it's speculation on the tokens, and it is what it is, right? Coins like Dogecoin don't really have a use case, but they have this amazing community with a lot of investors, traders, and enthusiasts behind it. I divide it into three categories, because enthusiasts are people who may not have a lot of funds, but they have a huge voice within the community. They are the ones who will go to various Telegram groups and Twitter accounts and comment and tell the world that this is so cool, I figured this out, because he's expecting to make a good chunk from it. He's learning about technology from them. He's getting more involved into something he never thought he would be. The other set of stakeholders you have is exchanges and partners. And partners could be both crypto partners and real world partners. Then you can get institutional investors in as well. After that comes the influencers and the KOL side, followed by media companies and PR agencies. And the reason I break down this list is because strategies for engaging all of these various stakeholders has to be thought out separately. You can't just have, like, hey man, we will spend X dollars on influencers and do an outreach and build a sustainable marketing strategy for our token. It doesn't lead to long-term sustainable growth for the token. And we've seen this so many times, right? What we're trying to build is a project which is in does very well in the bear market. And who will survive in the bear market are projects that have hardcore believers. Hardcore believers come with people who use the project, people who are passionate about it, people who believe in it more than anyone else. Like, it's really a very different world that we've created, a very different approach we need to take to marketing when it comes to the token side of things, right? Then this is sort of, I kind of thought about and broke down things which which have to be practiced on a regular basis, which has to be, again, inbred in the DNA. You don't have to do any of them, or you can do all of them. But these are basic strategies that I have seen tokens apply. And that's why I've written sort of vanity, because because many of them, like especially the ones in the beginning, take inspiration from Bitcoin's halving event, right? Like, hey, there's an event going to take place and something's going to happen. So it brings value to it. And it does work, it is fine. But sort of strategizing all of them, sort of having a way that it's something that people are looking forward to. That's the messaging that needs to be worked on. So this includes stuff like staking, and the funny part is staking actually is it's something that just started with proof of stake, right? Like it had a use case behind it. But staking has become this thing where you lock in tokens and you get sort of, more tokens dropped on top of it. It's not really helping from the network side of things, but it's cool, right? Like it works. People lock in tokens and then sort of liquidity reduces, and that's helping the token side of things. The second one is burning. Burning events are pretty cool. It was really made hot by Binance, who did like massive token burns as well. I think crypto.com has done one of the biggest burning events in the history of crypto so far. And I think from the current price, it could be like a massive number. I don't even know what the number would be right now. Then you have other events like exchange listings. And exchange listings is a pretty interesting strategy to look at also, because exchanges, people who see and work with exchanges as partners have seen very good success in any exchange that they work with. But what happens is that we fear as product developers that we need to be on every exchange. But that's not the case. You need to identify maybe one or two good exchanges that you need to sort of really be on. And I'm talking about centralized exchanges because on dexes you can be any which ways. But both from a centralized exchange perspective, this is again a very important token strategy. And if you're able to get yourself in the top 4 5 of them, then the other ones, because they want liquidity and they want their customers to stay with them, will end up listing you any which ways. Then liquidity addition is a fantastic event. I think one of the things I missed here is incentivizing liquidity addition, which is also known as yield farming. So liquidity addition within dexes, right? And this was started mostly by Uniswap, hyped up by Hex right in the beginning. If you add liquidity, you get liquidity pool tokens. If you hold liquidity pool tokens, you get incentivized by you being able to claim more tokens as well. And this is like a cool strategy which has sort of worked really well. Sort of can be called as staking 2.0, because adding liquidity allows for more traders to be able to trade higher sums of money as well, which is a cool thing, right? And then of course, then we come to the product side, which is tech updates. So our testnet is coming out, our demo is coming out, alpha, beta. We have so many testers on the platform, and these are extremely good because now you can get your speculators to get more involved with the technology side of things. And once they experience something that they've been trading, they become even more better community members. And this is where, once you have something that people can play with, something that people can use, now you have converted sort of a speculator into a user. And that's one of the most powerful things of what I have seen, right? If you look at any of the products that have actual users, they usually have a very decent holders network as well. Then the last three things is like real world partnerships, event participations, which is great, and then doing interviews, AMAs, and media coverage. So the point I'm trying to make here is that all of these aspects and more need to be looked at individually in terms of what can you do to keep engaging your community. And one thing again that I missed out here is keeping your community engaged, giving them something to do. If you're going to build a Telegram group and they're going to have 5, 10, 15, 20,000 people, well, keep them busy, give them something that they can be engaging with each other, with you on a regular basis. And those strategies, some coins have done a fantastic job in solving as well. And in the end, like I've sort of written halving as a joke, because halving is, like, I think Bitcoin's favorite marketing tactic, and it works every 4 years like a charm. uh, yeah. uh, I want to sort of end this presentation, which wasn't really too long, is that passionate builders make passionate communities, right? And when you launch your tokens, you need to have a lot of patience, passion, and persistence, because it's not easy to deal with people who've invested like $100 in your project, and then they sort of deal with you like, you owe them something. It becomes hard. But at the end of the day, smart community builders have been able to convert skeptics into users, skeptics into believers, skeptics into hodlers. And with that, I sort of end my presentation. Just like a few slides on what I think and what I've observed, and a few tricks and tips for you to get started with marketing. Would love to have you guys check out our YouTube channel, join us on Telegram, and if you want, you can connect with me anytime, and happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Josh. I think we're super lucky to, hear from you, especially, during for hackathon related events, we usually hear like the technical talks and workshops, but we usually don't have the opportunity to hear about, experts on the marketing and community building side of things, which is extremely important in crypto projects, right? Oftentimes, from my experience, projects leaders are usually heads down building, the product and working on the technical side of things. And, 2 weeks before product launch, they start to panic and think about, oh, like we should set up all these community channels, what are we going to do with marketing? And then hectically looking for like PR agencies and like third-party marketing agencies to help with marketing strategy. It's it's you've seen that happening. I'm sure you have as well, like happening over and over again. So it's definitely great to kind of start to think about your marketing and community from very early stage, right? And how you can start to engage with early adopters and early users, even like sometimes even before your MVP is out. So I guess, Shash, from your experience, dealing with projects, when should they start to actually, thinking about and lay out their marketing strategy and, start to build out their community?
Well, I think that was like the the focus of my talk today, right? You started yesterday, like you do it all the time. Like if you are getting people, like, this is how Bitcoin came about, right? Like everybody was talking to everybody, hey, check out Bitcoin, it's cool, it has so much value, decentralization, halving, this and that, right? Like it really kind of spread like a virus, and that's what has to be done, in my opinion. The thing is that many founders I know who've built excellent products, and I have tested them out, like some of them are just amazing, and they really don't understand the logic of marketing. They're like, hey, we have such an amazing product, we just spend money on a few YouTubers and a few influencers, etc., and we will get the outreach. Doesn't happen. It just doesn't work like that. You have to build your community yourself, you have to get users yourself. And yes, like, to answer your question, you started immediately, like the moment you're thinking about that you're more serious about coming up with the product, you have a name, you have a brand ready, you have a logo ready. And I mean, it starts from branding itself, right? Like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, crypto.com, Binance, like look at the sort of names and brandings these projects have. Like it's phenomenal. Like just saying these names, looking at their images, looking at sort of their design aesthetics, it's fabulous. And starting from day one, starting from there, and then sort of inculcating a subculture from your token, because your token itself is a microeconomy, right? Like you're building a microeconomy. Now that comes with its own subculture, and that needs to be inculcated within the community as well. So, in my opinion, the moment you sort of have your brand ready, you should start talking about it.
Yep, exactly. I'm also curious to hear your view on the effectiveness of working with KOLs and influencers, and what are some of the things that founders should consider before they get into the discussion with these KOLs.
So this is right up my alley, right? Basically, a, a KOL is looking to talk about good projects, right? A KOL's job is to bring good long-term quality projects to his or her community, right? That's a KOL's job. That's what an influencer does. Now, if the project is well sorted with what it's going to do with its communication, what it needs out of it, what it's trying to build, what's the next 6 months roadmap in terms of the marketing breakdown that we did with this call as well, then you know exactly what you want from a KOL. Like, here's the thing, right? Most projects that come to me and they're like, hey, would you market us? We don't do sponsored content. But if they come and they're like, hey, could you make a video on us? That's like literally, I find it a bit rude. And besides that, I find it a bit rude to your own community. Like, what are you expecting me to do? Like, pump your coin and then just be done with it? I'm here to build a community. Like, my loyalty is to my community. That means if I review a project, I will invest in it. I will make sure that my community knows what I feel about it for years to come. And if I find something wrong with it, I will inform my community, hey, like, this is not cool. By throwing money, it's the easiest thing to do, right? Like, that's anybody can do that. What is hard is to get an influencer to be able to talk about your project for free. Bitcoin never spent $1. And that's the goal, right? Like, that's the goal. How do you get people to talk about your project? And it's hard, like, it's the hardest thing to do. But once you can solve your strategy, the second step could be, okay, fine. Now I have the strategy ready. Now I have put my point across. This is what I need. Then you can allocate budgets to the amplification side of things. And that's what any KOL and influencer is. They are amplification tools, right? So if you make a good sound, if you have a good product, they can amplify it for you. But if you don't have that ready, if you don't have a good sound, then amplifying anything is not going to lead to any benefits. And this is the big problem. And that's why many projects don't reach the point where they must, because of the technological advancements that they've done in innovation, is because they think that marketing is the easy part, but it's not. It's as difficult as building product is.
Yeah,
Yep,
I think it's
exactly.
quite a lot of projects. They are very hardcore. They focus on maybe the coding part, the protocol part, but they sort of like, okay, we can do it later. Okay, marketing just throw money. When we build a product, and then we just, we can start thinking about the marketing side. Yeah, so I think this is like something even happening in many big organizations that I like that the part that you break it into two parts is like the product marketing and also the token marketing. So the thing is, basically, these two groups of people, they talk in different language.
Exactly.
It's like, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then,
when you think about it, when you divide it, right, what happens is you suddenly get so much clarity. Like, there is so much clarity because, okay, fine, now I need to get users for my product, and I need to get, all the other things for the token side of things. And they're different people, right? Somebody like me may not want to play Axie Infinity, but I might want to invest in the Axie coin. Now, you don't push me to play the game. I will play it once, but I'm done with it. I'm not there for play to earn. I mean, the thing is that I'm a different audience, and I am the speculator. I'm the token side of guy. I'm not the product side of guy. But you need the product side of guys to interest the token side. But marketing to me has to be very different than marketing to those. So yeah.
So yeah, I believe that this is like something that it has to become in parallel. So you build a great product, and then you can amplify that by the product marketing, and vice versa. It's like back and forward, and then you can have this positive looping happening. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. In fact, from my side, every time I speak with founders, I'm very easily now, because of what I shared today, right? It's essentially the reverse of the guidebook I use to decide which projects I'm going to cover and which projects we will bring forward to our community. Because at the end of the day, if the projects themselves aren't able to understand the need for them to build sustainable marketing ideas, to build sustainable marketing thinking in general, and if marketing, and you can call it marketing, you can call it community building, you can call it whatever, right? It's the same thing. But if it's not in your DNA, then you need to hire people who have it in their DNA. You need to get people on board as co-founders, as equity owners who have that in their DNA, because without that, everything is pretty much lost. Like every coin that I know which is pretty much on top has figured out their marketing, messaging, community building really, really well. Else, they don't sustain on top. Being on top in crypto is hard. Getting there is not. Staying there is.
Yep, for sure. And nowadays, like we start to see more and more anonymous teams popping up, right? And some of the teams are actually build very, credible and nice protocols and products. So this brings an extra, I guess, difficult layer of difficulty for the community members to, trust you and, have that level of credibility. So for projects teams that are pseudonymous, what would be your advice to those people?
Yeah, so they have a different uphill battle when it comes to marketing. And for them, they shouldn't push for trying to get to market very fast. What they need to do is build a robust product and get a ton of users. For them to do the token marketing side is actually something I would find very, very questionable and scammy to a certain extent, because if you're not anonymous, then you have to prove that your tech is innovative, then your tech works, that your tech is sustainable, it is hack proof, that it's going to work just fine. Like, you know like Bitcoin, like Satoshi is anonymous, but he didn't market anything, like he didn't push it. So that then your tech needs to be so innovative, so amazing, that you don't have to do marketing at all. So if the project intends to be anonymous, I will not be supporting them till I have all the information. Like I'm talking from a researcher, a cover, a media entity sort of a perspective, that for me, like unless the project has proven itself and somebody's done a massive audit on their code, etc., till that point of time, I'm not going to be super excited about doing much with them. But here's the thing: those projects that intend to not hide, like, uh, have their privacy, they have a higher uphill battle regardless. Like they have a tougher battle, which is good, right? Like if they can prove themselves good, then they remain private individuals. And being a token founder and being a token team member is hard. Like it's hard. Like being anonymous is definitely better, but it comes with its own challenges, in my opinion. And I feel
Right.
I've seen it both ways. I've seen founders who are completely public who've done an amazing job of building some of the smartest, most amazing communities, that the community members themselves sound like founders. Like if you check out Quant Network, right? Like the way they have built their community is just fabulous. Like I've been following them for the last 1.5, 2 years. And just like from the right messaging, getting the right people on board. They didn't care about getting everyone on the community. They just cared about getting a few smart people to spread their message and just have them on board. And it worked really well. It's a long-term strategy and it paid off really well. I think individual strategies. So what we discussed today is sort of like a playbook, right? But going by the playbook, you can only reach a certain level. If you want to break through that, then you have to be very creative. And every team has its challenges, whether you're anonymous, whether you're in a sector which is not hot. For example, social media cryptocurrencies aren't hot, they've never been. So that's the hardest one to break through. But if one breaks through, they will reach, the levels which maybe something like Binance did for exchanges, maybe something that Axie Infinity did for blockchain gaming, something Uniswap did for, dexes. So like the point I'm trying to make here is that every company has its own set of challenges, and they have to be creative in solving marketing problems as they are creative in solving technology problems as well.
Yeah, and from my experience, I also find in the end, the community members care about if, you are being authentic and genuine in,
Oh yeah.
the community, like Discord and Telegram channels, right? In the end, whether your name is pseudonymous or you use your real name, doesn't really that much, but the messaging that you're conveying and your interaction with the community matters the most.
Yeah.
And another question I have is, we've seen like from this hackathon, like there are a variety of different projects, like the DeFi, NFT, and gaming projects. From the marketing perspective, what would you say is, the I guess the different route that these, different vertical projects can take?
Yeah. I think the first time I met Chris, right, I asked him like, how did you manage to, build such a cool project? This is 2017. Like, how did you manage to get so many things right? And the thing he said is, we focused on two things: timing and compliance, which was such an apt answer, and sort of like got me thinking a lot about things. So to answer your question, projects have to be smart, very smart with timing for sure. And timing and right messaging, when to launch your token, where to launch your token, who to get on board as partners, uh, how to keep the value up. Because here's the thing, right now money in crypto is cheap, right? By that I mean there is so much money in crypto. Like every layer one has somewhere between $100 million to about $5 billion worth of money to burn in growing their ecosystems, right? There are enough VCs who've made enough money by investing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, right? That there is enough money to get around. But now the projects have to be super smart in getting the right partners who are useful post sale to get on board early. And I'm talking about the sale here because 90%, 95% of the projects are doing token sale. It is something which is sort of common. And we've seen this trend of microeconomies sort of starting back in 2017 when it didn't make much sense. But now with NFTs, DeFi, and blockchain gaming, GameFi, uh, it started to make a lot more sense because there are fabulous use cases, there are fabulous microeconomies, there are actual reasons for people to buy and hold these coins. So to kind of generalize all three of them, everybody needs to think about interesting token utilities. But it is not a static process. By that I mean, if you have a good token utility, you can make it better 2 months after your launch. You can make it even better 5 months after your launch. A token utility is like a business model, right? Companies like YouTube did not even have a business model for first 10, 15 years of their existence. They didn't know how they will make money. Facebook never made money. So don't worry about having a token that becomes a barrier to entry for people. Get people on your platform. The token utility can always be built later. Smart people have figured it out over and over again. But having a basic token utility is always good because it gives a people a reason to hold it. Community is not really complaining so much about utility per se because smart guys have figured it out 1 year after a launch, 2 years after a launch, and I think many of them will figure out eventually because you're not the only one. There are like 15,000 crypto companies that are working on multiple things. My job, I feel, is observing where things are being solved. And if I see one company solving the token problem in a way, like the token utility problem, I'm happy to sort of broadcast and tell everyone that, hey, check this out, this is being solved, so you don't have to worry so much about it, here's the solution. And these solutions will come, like whether it's cross chain economies, whether it's bridges, whether it is composability, whether it's the metaverse collation. Like how does DeFi look in a metaverse? I don't know, but there are many interesting concepts that we're seeing in terms of NFTs. The NFT subculture per se, like just the subculture of what we're seeing on OpenSea and Discord right now, that can't even be put into the realm of cryptocurrency right now. Like anybody who's trying to build an NFT marketplace or is trying to build something in the NFT side of things must spend a month just seeing the movement of the prices with projects on OpenSea and how that movement is happening, because it's fascinating. It's nothing like what's happening in crypto at all. Like the NFT space has nothing to do with the crypto space. So anybody who's building that needs to understand how do they get the 5,000 NFT collection projects. And they are basically three categories, right? One is your profile picture NFTs, one is your art NFTs, and third is your blockchain gaming, the game NFT side of things. Now, the thing is, anyone who's building NFT based infrastructure needs to figure out how to attract all three of them. To attract them, you need to understand what their business model is. But their business model is not in the crypto space at all. That NFT, like the OpenSea business, is completely different. The second thing you asked was the DeFi side of things, right? And the DeFi side of things, the key for DeFi is TVL, right? That's what it all boils down to. Total value locked. The more TVL you have, the more people will be attracted to you, the more secure your system will feel, and it goes hand in hand. So the more audits you get done, the more problems you're able to solve in terms of getting more people involved in it, the more liquidity you're going to attract. The reason CZ talks a lot about PancakeSwap is because PancakeSwap is the biggest DEX in the world right now. Like the amount of liquidity that PancakeSwap is able to get is insane. So if you're building a DeFi tool, you need to get a lot of liquidity on it. And liquidity will come when people trust your product, when they trust the technology, and they trust the fact that they can lock in money, because nobody wants to lose. You can make 1,000% APY, but if you lose the whole amount, then that risk is very high. And that is where the audit side of things comes into play. But again, from a marketing perspective, for DeFi, it's all about TVL, and you need to keep marketing your TVL and the growth of TVL. Like last week, we had $1 million. Now we have $3 million. So that movement is the message, and your partners should be talking about that on a regular basis. Then the third thing you asked, was it gaming or metaverse? Sorry.
Gaming. Yeah.
Blockchain gaming right now, it's just crazy, right? Like there are a million Axie. I mean, I'm exaggerating, of course, but like there are so many Axie Infinity clones. And I was on a panel with the founder of Axie Infinity, Alexander, as well as with Sebastian. And one of the things that Alexander said was, if you want to beat Axie, right, and if you want to like come close to Axie, you need to re-innovate what they've done. Like that movement that Axie has done, that's over with. Now the games have to really look back and think from an economic perspective how they can make this better. So projects and people who are solving these problems, see, here's the thing: doing blockchain gaming is easy, but what is tough is coming up with the game that a person wants to play over and over and over again. But it has to be tough enough that they can't win every time, so that the play to earn economy falls into place. So you need to hire economists, you need to hire developers who can build on Unreal 5, which is the hottest thing right now, with the coming of Star Atlas, which became like one of the biggest projects. And it's going to be launched in a while, but it's just beautiful, right? Like if you check out the graphics that Star Atlas is doing, just mind-blowingly amazing. So with the game side, it's actually so hot right now. It's hard to say what will and what will not work. What I know for sure will work is a good, decent gameplay, a nice demo, be original, right? Like we've been finding so many demos which are actually just very much copied and pasted and stuff. But of course, like very few people would do that, hopefully. But the key is to be innovative and original and come up with good designers, good graphics. And right now, that place is super saturated. In my opinion, the blockchain, the GameFi space is so crazy right now that anything will work. And I believe it's gonna have a bit of a correction at some point of time very soon.
Wow, there's so many good advice in here. Yeah, I think this episode, every new crypto project founder would need to watch this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I
Leslie,
think
do you have any? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, we have a question from the audience. Is like I assume that he is like a startup project owners, and then he would like to know, is there any program that I think he means Auckland Bus would help a new startup for marketing? If yeah,
So that's what I spoke about before. I've started this thing called Altcoin Buzz Labs, where I'm working with a team of people to incubate projects to kind of get them mentally prepared for entering the crypto space as well. We help with probably how to set up, from setting up the organization side of things and how that will work, till getting from the incubation to an acceleration kind of thing. But again, like it's a process where we focus on understanding the mindset of the founders. And it's something I'm very excited about, because I get to do exactly what I always wanted to do. And after speaking with thousands of founders for the last 4.5 years in this space, I'm looking forward to talking to more. But regardless of that, uh, I'm pretty much available on the Telegram group, the Altcoin Buzz chat on Telegram. Just drop in questions. We have a community of 20,000 people who we discuss things with on a regular basis. So yeah, do connect with us. Not an issue.
yeah, cool. And then I think the one of the other question is well, meme con is like pretty hot once again right now these days, and I think you have also covered a little bit on in your presentation. You mentioned about the example of a Dogecoin, and then so yeah, I think the community also would like to have a little bit of like your insight on this like whole meme con thing. Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? You buy meme coin and you sell meme coin, but you don't talk about meme coin. The point I'm trying to make here is that it's like going to a
It's the new
casino and
Fight
get
Cup.
yeah, yeah, maybe, but it's more like going to a casino and gambling, right? The meme coin is just fun. It's like going to a casino and gambling. You will win and then you will lose, right? Like ultimately the all paths lead to zero, and there is nothing much to discuss there. Like go gamble, right? Like if that's what you like to do, just do it, but just don't talk about it. Like I can't tell you how to gamble. Like you just do it, man. Like that's it's as simple as that. It's fun. I like studying meme coins. See, at the end of the day, somebody like me, I'm a passionate guy who's extremely curious about everything that happens in crypto. I follow what's happening from the scam side to the best of Bitcoin side. I follow what Michael Saylor is doing to the technologies which is being built. My job is to figure out what's happening, and that's how we are able to see where the trends are headed, right? Like how do you become a futurist without having all the information? So from a meme coin perspective, when I see too many meme coins coming, I know the market's going to correct really hard. Like it's already too much euphoria, right? So these are all indicators which help me understand the market more. However, that said, it's pure gambling if you want to play with it. Nobody's going to stop you. It's your money. At the end of the day, do it. But if you're smart, get out early and be happy with your profits. Else, just gamble and lose everything to zero. Just don't bet your house on it, man. Like, what else do you want me to say? Like,
Totally. Yeah. I was wondering, is like from the marketing point of view, is it like the whole meme con community, is it like a singular case, or is it like something nobody would expect, right?
So there is, so you called it meme con right now, man, yourself. You didn't even call it meme coin. You said meme con, right? So it's pretty much what it is. Anyways, the point is that it's just degen stuff, man. And degen stuff, you don't need marketing. You just need to kind of get bunch of crazy people to talk about it on Twitter, Telegram, Twitch, TikTok all the time, and thing moves. But nobody survives. At the end of the day, look at what happened with Squid Games coin, right? I had so many fights on my Telegram group, and I was telling people, guys, like, it's fine, you want to buy it, gamble, do what you want. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't tell you what to buy, what not to buy. But what I can tell you is, don't talk about it on my chat here, because people will buy it and they might lose money. I don't want to be responsible for it. And people are like, you have no idea, this is amazing, it's going to be the next Bitcoin and stuff. And I'm like, no. And they just locked the contract for everybody else. Only the founder could sell his coins, and that's it. That's the end of the scam right there. So, like, there is no marketing. There is no, I'm not going to ever help, sort of. I'll study it. I'll never say never, but as of now, I have no interest in helping or working with any meme coins or promoting them or talking about them. I think they have to reach a certain pedestal before they get worth talking about. Like, Dogecoin has reached that point where, Elon Musk has spoken about it and pumped it. And even if it didn't have a legacy before, after what Elon Musk did to it, it has a legacy now. See,
That's true.
that's what we need to understand is, and that's very important for people who are investing in NFTs to understand as well, that Nirvana became a massive band after Kurt Cobain died, right? Like, it was a huge band, it was an amazing band. The music remains the same, but what happened to Kurt Cobain led to people like seeing that, oh my God, like, then the music spread much faster, and sort of created that legacy for the band. It is what it is, right? And I myself heard about it after that. Uh, and sort of these things happen, which create these things for projects, which kind of take them from being garbage meme coins to kind of half decent, worthwhile meme coins, like what has happened with Dogecoin. Now Dogecoin isn't so much a meme coin anymore. It's become a legacy coin. And legacy coins, I call legacy coins like Litecoin,
OTC,
you
yeah.
know BCH, all these coins which are like semi-precious metal, being, Bitcoin being gold, all the semi-precious metals are sort of, legacy coins. But then the whole degen stuff, which is like, $1,000 trillion supply, and, anonymous founders, nobody knows what's happening with the coin. That's degen meme coins, which have no legacy. So post legacy establishment, a coin can be worth looking into. Before that, it's just garbage. And I've spoken to many anonymous and non-anonymous meme coin teams just to understand what's going on. uh, their intentions aren't right, man. Like, what do I say? Yeah.
Yeah, I think for the serious product builders out there, they definitely learn a lot insights from today's discussion, right? Going back to what you mentioned earlier, Shash, start to think about community building and start to think about your marketing strategy, from the day that you already have, decided the product name, um, have a Twitter account and start to work on that from day one. And being genuine in the community discussions and always being, uh, be on top of your game on marketing and continue with the flow. So with that, I think it concludes today's session. Thank you so much, Shash, for joining us.
Thank you
And
very
we really
much.
hope to invite you for our future events down the road as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. It was so awesome to be a part of this. I really appreciate the invite. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Thanks again. Yeah.
Thanks. All right. Good night, everyone.
Catch you later.